welcome to Race Tech Radio. Race Tech Radio is a weekly podcast based on racing and technology news. I am Justin Richu, and alongside me is Yannick Martin. You can check out all the topics we cover at racetechradio.com. Alright, on to some race results. We have a lot of racing results for you for A1GP, which recently came to Speed TV. So the first race is the Czech Republic. The sprint race, Malaysia came in first, posting the fastest lap. Canada, France, and 3 retires. In the feature race, Malaysia setting the fastest lap again and coming in first. Czech Republic in second. Mexico in third, and 3 retires once again. In China, the Netherlands came in...
Came in what?
Yeah, sorry about that. I wrote down the acronyms instead of the actual country. So
well,
it's kind of confusing. So anyways, the Netherlands posted the fastest lap and came in first. Mexico in second. Italy in third, and only 1 retire. And then in the feature race, Italy came in first, posting the fastest lap. Great Britain in second. Australia in third, and an astonishing 9 retires. It was a very close race, and a lot, I tell you, a lot of wrecks. Next race was in Malaysia. Switzerland came in first, posting the fastest lap. Germany in second, and New Zealand in third. 3 retires. And for the feature race, Germany came in first instead of second, as before, posting the fastest lap. Great Britain in second, France in third, and only 1 retire that I saw. They didn't recap them at the end, so I was left guessing, literally.
That's
Next race was Indonesia. New Zealand came in first, Mexico in second, Great Britain in third, and New Zealand posted the fastest lap. Only 1 retire that time. New Zealand came in first the next feature race as well. That's 2 first in that race. And then Germany in second, France in third, and 6 retires. A lot of crashes.
Well, that seems to be a series with a lot of crashes, even though those cars look indestructible.
Yeah, I know. They look very tough. But I don't know. I like the series, but I wouldn't wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning like I do for Formula 1, or GP2 for that matter. I wouldn't wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch it. In fact, sometimes I find myself on the computer near the end of the race. So, well, it's fun though. I like the racing, but I'm not right into it.
I've never actually got the chance to see any of the A1GP races except for some online videos and stuff, because, well...
The highlights, right?
Yeah, because I don't have any Speed TV up here. Well, I could have it, but I don't.
Yeah, I think you would need a digital box, wouldn't you?
I could have it. I actually do have a digital box, but I have to pay for the channel and shit, and I don't even... No idea how much it costs and stuff, so...
You're best to just stay away. Well, next story, we have the Formula 1 2007 rules.
Oh yeah.
This is exciting for some and disappointing for many. They're really changing the face of Formula 1 in the next 3 years, pretty much. They're doing a full turnaround on the series.
Yeah, the only thing that really stays Formula 1 is the name.
Yeah, pretty much. I think they'll have standing starts, though.
Yeah.
So the first thing that is the Bridgestone single tire supplier, right? And that will only be until 2010.
For now.
Yeah, for now. That's all the contract says. So maybe they'll bring in someone else, or maybe they'll switch it back to 2 tire suppliers.
Or maybe they'll just extend the contract. Which wouldn't be a good thing. Which wouldn't be a good thing, obviously.
The thing I'm worried about is Bridgestone wanting too much attention. You know, like they were thinking about, oh, they'll never talk about us, so let's totally change the sport so it will suck. Much like Champ Car, you know? It's like, oh man, what are you doing? Next thing was the 14 sets of tires per driver.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine. That's dry tires. I think wet tires are infinite, but on the weekend they get 4 on Friday and then 10 for the rest of the weekend. So I think
That's good.
that's fair.
It's much better than 2 years ago when they had to only use one set of tires for the race, which was ridiculous.
That that does sound ridiculous. The next thing was they're gonna want a more extensive front crash testing.
That's
Because
okay.
yeah, that's totally good in the name of safety.
Of course.
I'm all for that. The next thing was
Well,
the GPS marshalling.
there are some safety things though that kind of broke Formula One there, like all the limiting stuff and breaking the tracks and stuff.
Yeah, I could
I love
find
my
people not
preciseness.
liking that when you
Yeah,
change a piece of history.
of
But
course.
Monza, that was dangerous.
Yeah,
Uh,
but they definitely killed the San Marino track after Senna's accident.
yeah,
Well, it wasn't only Senna's accident actually. It was
yeah.
three
It was
major
a few.
accidents in every single day of race. 2 deaths, 1 majorly injured and stuff. Good old San Marino 1994. Awesome stuff.
It's a shame, but you have to
Yeah.
destroy it sometime if it's
It-
killing off some of your best
yeah,
racers.
but it's kind of part of the risk though. The risk of the job in a way. Like
Yeah,
if you go in an F1, you'll know you're gonna drive at 300 kilometers an hour and shit, and you got the chance to, as they say, every corner could be the last.
yeah.
So,
You
but
get
the
what you
track,
pay for.
yeah, but the track was a little bit unsafe, I must say, with the walls very too close to the track. But the problem wasn't the fact that they revamped the track or anything. The problem was they revamped it too much. But that's why next year, I've checked something in the calendar because they released the 2007 calendar a few months ago,
Yep.
and there's no San Marino Grand Prix.
Really?
Yeah, they're dropping it. It might come back because they have an extra race weekend that they might enter San Marino back,
Yeah.
but it's not in there, and I think it's not in there till at least 2008. I think they're doing a new track, like they're rebuilding it a little better, because it's almost impossible to pass on that track now.
Almost impassable. Other than the pits, of course.
Yeah,
But that's not as much fun when all the passing goes on in
of
the
course. Oh, anyways, enough with my analogy or
pits.
whatever.
Yes, but of course they're always welcome.
Yes.
The GPS marshaling.
That's
I
good.
think this is a great idea. Do
Mhm.
you?
Well, that's good. Well, it's definitely gonna help the drivers and the FIA. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, what the GPS marshaling is pretty much, you can be driving and then you'll see a little LED light, have you, and it would signal what flags are approaching or the accident severity of an accident that happened in front of
Mhm.
you, right? Or the track dangers, right?
Yep.
So I think that's good, and
So
it
that
will.
it's gonna help for safety measures. That's for sure. It's gonna help the drivers see what's going around them. But at the same time, it helps the driver keep focus on the track and on the other drivers around him, but it removes the responsibility of the drivers to look around the track to see if there's a flag.
Well, soon enough, it really makes you wonder how easy these cars are to drive.
Yeah,
Because, the skill required is more on the car than the human nowadays.
these
And
days,
that,
yeah.
yeah, and that's what Max Mosley was actually talking about in the recent issue of F1 Racing. And he's like talking about how they're trying to find the balance because, a total rookie could jump in the car and set laps, what, 2 seconds under the lead lap?
Mhm. Well,
It's, well, Marco Andretti, he was 2 seconds off the pace, but
yeah.
he does have former racing experience.
Like, well, the funny thing was with Ide or something. at the beginning of the season this year. The guy at Super Aguri. He did
Yep.
3 races. I wonder if he at least completed a lap or something. He just threw that car everywhere. He got his super license removed there, but
Wow.
funny stuff.
It is funny. I'm surprised Anthony went over there.
Yeah, that's the surprising thing, actually.
I think he could probably replace Rubens.
Yeah, but Rubens, well, he's going to be there at least for next year.
Next
I
year.
don't know. He's getting old, though.
He is getting rather old. The next thing about the 2007 rule changes are the testing limits. They're limited to 30,000 kilometers now.
Mhm.
So, it's so you can spend more time in development, not just going out and racing all the time. That's a good. I like it because it's crazy if one team could spend their whole time testing where another's stuck in development.
Yeah, but you don't really develop till you test something. If you always have to test, like something can be so good in theory, but actually sucks in practice. So you really have to get that thing.
Yes, things are
But
very
it will,
different.
yeah, but it will definitely help those teams that can't actually make it all that much. Those poorer teams where that they can't actually get all the time the track time compared to, for example, Ferrari and stuff, which
Yep.
actually have their own tracks. That's definitely going to help those teams.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. The other change is the V8 engines are going to be limited to 19,000 revs per minute. Uh, what what do you think about this?
Well, that's definitely a safety measure but established by the FIA to keep slowing down the cars because they're going so fast. But I don't know. Maxing out an F1 engine to 19,000 RPM won't be all that great, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Well, last season they got them, up to 21 tops.
If you max it out, yeah, easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially
So,
since they've switched to V8 engines,
yeah.
they run much faster than V10s.
I like how they keep trying to slow down the cars, but the engineers find a way to just go
Yeah.
faster than before.
They've made different, like when they've changed the V10 to V8, they said, oh, this is to really slow down the cars and to make it safe, and still they beat the new track records with those engines.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
It shows how bleeding edge Formula One used to be, you could say.
It isn't supposed to be, but the FIA just comes and screws it up all the time.
It is crazy. I can't stand it.
Yeah, there are some safety measures that are definitely good.
Yeah, for sure. Safety's
Especially
good, but when
the,
you
for
hinder
example,
the whole sport.
Yeah, reinforcing the car, that's okay. That's for sure. That's when they've entered the straps there to hold the helmets, the hands device. When they've raised the sides of the car to protect the shoulders and stuff, made the cars harder and all. That's good. When you're at the point that you're stopping development of supposedly the top series that's supposed to be there for development, it kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah. Well, I think safety's all good, but it's when you start changing the face of Formula One. That's
Exactly.
when it gets a little too far.
Mm.
Next story, not next story, but the next article thing on the Formula 107 rule changes is the engine. It must last 2 weekends, but it begins on Saturday, not Friday.
Fridays are excluded, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So they don't have to limit themselves on the Friday test, the practicing, and then they can actually use their engine and conserve it however they feel on Saturday. Also, the free practice will be raised from 60 minutes to 90 minutes instead. And there will be 2 cars maximum, and it has to be either the drivers or the test driver. So that's about it for the 07 rule changes. Well, next story is Ross Brawn
Story.
planned on taking a year off, but it wasn't actually timed with the leave of everyone else from Ferrari. He found the need to have a break, and he actually plans on coming back next year, and possibly to replace John Todt. Because John Todt was thinking of leaving rather soon. He doesn't want to leave the team now that everyone else left. But Ross is just trying to tell you that he's not gone. He's only like 50-something. He will be back. He didn't mean to time it like this, with Schumacher leaving. So, is there anything else you wanted to add to that story?
Not really, because I don't really know what to say.
Rather tiny, isn't it? Rather
Yes.
short story.
Anyways, next story, a little bit of IndyCar stories. Dario Franchitti has been confirmed at Andretti Green Racing, probably the biggest team over there. Maybe not the best, but
Yeah.
the largest.
Definitely the largest.
They're supposed to have, what, 4 or 5 drivers next year. They had confirmed already Marco Andretti, Danica Patrick, who's switching over. Now Dario Franchitti.
Tony
Is it-
Kanaan? Has he signed?
That's a good question. I don't even know.
I would hope so.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And some people were thinking that Michael could do a return, but I don't know about that. So,
Not looking forward to it.
no, he's going to be there for the Indianapolis race, that's for sure, because as he did last year. But I don't know if he's going to be there for this season, which I highly doubt. So, oh yes, here it says the Scotsman, which is
French.
of course Franchitti, is the final driver confirmed in a 4-car lineup, which also includes new signing Danica Patrick, Marco Andretti, and 2004 IndyCar Series champion Tony Kanaan. So there we go. We have our answer, and obviously Franchitti will still have his number 27 Dallara Honda car with Canadian Club as his title sponsor.
Yeah, and that's his 5th season at Andretti Green, isn't it? Well, I'm excited to see him back, because wasn't he planning on racing somewhere else?
Possibly, if he didn't have any contract signing with AGR, he was probably leaving somewhere else. But he did, and we wish the best of luck to him.
Not only him, but the whole team.
Oh, the team just seems to get everything going right.
Yeah, I think, I don't know how well Danica Patrick's gonna do, but I think the other guys have a chance.
Oh, it's an interesting addition, though.
It
That's
is.
for sure. 'Cause
I like
the
her
guys
car. The paint job, it kind of looks like, I don't know what you would call it, but it's a nice looking paint job.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all for racing news. We're sorry, but there is very limited news nowadays.
But the
assuming
two
that we're in the
following
off-season.
news are quite racing related, I must say.
Yeah, you could call that racing related. Well, if you didn't know, me and Yannick here are big fans of the show Star Racer, which ended a month ago or so. And it was fun because Discovery Channel pretty much they set out to find the newest Canadian driver. So they got a bunch of rookies from karting and other forms of motorsport, and they raced them all together and see who was best. And Paul Tracy was a judge, and so was Catherine Oleg and some old guy. So anyways, the winner was Devin Cunningham, and which I, by the way, predicted would win, and actually cheered for him. So that was good. Mazda Star Series is where he'll be racing next season. He'll be in the car for a whole year, and there may be signings after that. If not, he'll just go back to his normal life. But I think he'll probably stick around. The car will be with AIM Autosport, and the first race of the season for Mazda Star will be on March 16th, and that's at Sebring. Who were you cheering for with Star Racer?
Well, I did like Devin a lot. He was a very calm, down-to-earth person that just wasn't like compared to Lorenzo, which is big shot and cocky there. But I did like Cunningham a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, he was very calm and cool, and he kind of kept to himself. You know, and that was good because the other guys, they were all bragging about their past experience,
Mm.
and it kind of got annoying.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he will be at the Mazda Star Series for at least 1 year, which is good for me because I'll be watching Mazda Star this year. And I didn't really know anyone there, you know. So this will give me someone to cheer for, someone that I know and can't really relate to, but I watched the show. And that's something. That says something right there.
Yep.
All right, next story. It's Ricahrd Hammond is back after his 300-mile-an-hour jet-powered dragster. He crashed and he went into hospital and was rather crazy. Anyways, a couple weeks ago, he was back. Well, it was actually probably a month ago now, and he already did his first interview, which was good. Did you see it on YouTube?
Nope.
Oh, all right then. It was good though. It was some British guy, so I couldn't tell you who. It's probably like the David Letterman of the UK.
Okay.
And it was fun. It was a good little interview, and I enjoyed it. But anyways, Top Gear, which is one of my favorite shows to do with cars, will be back on January the 28th, and that's on BBC Two. Hopefully, it's still released on YouTube from that guy I watched it from. But he actually got a notice from BBC, I believe, telling him, giving him a cease and desist order. So I hope.
What will they do? They'll cancel his YouTube account. He'll open a new and put them up anyways.
Well, they do have his IP address. I'm sure they could retrieve that from YouTube.
I guess, but. Yeah, for the amount of people that actually do it, it's, I don't know. It's going to be hard to stop that.
I wish they would at least release them, like Call for Help, which is funny enough our next story. Call for Help, what they do is they put the shows on Google Video, and each show is $1. It's 99 cents US. So, like,
kind of like iTunes stuff.
Much like iTunes stuff, except for it's not controlled by, well, it is controlled by Google. See, I like Call for Help because I can't get it. I don't have it right now, which hopefully will change when they move. But I don't really want to pay $1 per episode if I watch, 5 days a week. That's a little excessive. Don't you think? Like, $5 a week, that's not bad. But if I could pay for it as a channel, I would much rather do that.
5 times a week, and they make you pay each day.
Yeah, $1 episode. That's a little much. That's $15 a month, but
for Google Video, I don't know. They could do it better through maybe, well, I don't know, even through iTunes would work well, where you'd simply pay a monthly subscription to a feed that would simply give you the episodes and you watch them when you want on your computer and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
it's just, I don't know, I'm not a fan of Google Video for one.
I'm not either. It was a failure in the eyes of everyone. I do like the size of the videos.
Yeah.
That's a plus.
The option of downloading them is another one.
That's good. I also like there's a lot of films on there, like the 9/11 Truth stuff. Those are free. Who Killed the Electric Car? All those like little videos are all available to the public because you don't need a director's account for that.
Okay.
So I like that. Anyways, Ricahrd Hammond back, and Top Gear will be on the 28th of January. Call for Help. I am a huge fan of Tech TV, and I always was, and huge since the ZDTV days. I've been watching it forever, and I'm glad that everyone kind of went their own way and started putting stuff on the internet. because going to the TV is just a nuisance nowadays. Anyways, Call for Help is going to be renamed The Lab with Leo Laporte after, how many years is that? That's a fair bit of years. Since 1998, he's been doing Call for Help. They didn't even have Windows 98 out at the time. They started when they were on Windows 95. And he used to do it with Kate, and then later came many other people. But I'm glad he's moving to Vancouver. That is good. And they're actually going to shoot it in HD to hopefully get on a US network, because that's, I don't know why, but that's the killer feature for US TV now, if you're shot in HD.
A lot of things are going HD nowadays.
Tons. Too many, in fact. So that is exciting. I hope they do a live studio audience like they used to do for the screensavers, because I would be there every day.
Every day.
Well, he usually films like all 5 episodes on Sunday.
Oh.
And then they
so
say...
it's unlive.
Well, no, yes, it's unlive. It's pre-recorded. The screensavers used to be live, but I don't know. They don't do that anymore here, so that's up here with Rogers, right? So I hope at the least I get the channel. You know, as soon as it moves to Vancouver, I am sure I can get it on my analog cable. I won't need a cable box. It should be like channel 60 or something, and then I can get it, because I miss that show dearly. Very much. Alright, next thing is my Ubuntu, or as some people pronounce it, Ubuntu review.
Ubuntu.
I've used Linux in the past. I know, it's an African word, and I'm Canadian, so I'll pronounce it how it looks, Ubuntu. I've been a big fan of Linux in the past. I've played around with Mandrake and drawing a blank, Knoppix and Flax, and I've always liked it, but I've never been serious enough to make it my main operating system. And for the most part was because I didn't get so involved. But now I got into Ubuntu, and Ubuntu is it's very easy, I find. It's quote-unquote Linux for human beings, and I find this is very true because it's very usable to the average entry-level PC user. You don't need a degree in programming to pick up the distro and install something, you know, even though it still is kind of tricky. The ISO, the image file, is small enough to fit on a single CD. So that's good, because usually Linux distros are huge and you have to download like 3 or 5, and you usually have to burn them all to CD and then boot from them and then install, and it's truly is a pain in the ass. I'm surprised I ever installed Mandrake. That took like 4 or 5 CDs, and I installed it a few times. I tried a couple times. And if you're not willing to burn it to a CD, they will mail it to you using the Ship It program. And what's good is it's not only an install CD, it's a live CD as well. So you can put it in, boot from CD, and try it out and see if your hardware will work with it, and if you like the GUI, pretty much.
The GUI.
The graphical user interface. GUI.
GUI. Just sounds funny how you said it.
Yeah, I like saying the GUI. It's very fun for me. It's also, speaking of GUI, it is a GUI install. It's not a text-based one, but you can download a text-based install. There are a few other ones. You know, you can get the desktop, you can get the laptop, or the server. Right, and it works on Intel, AMD, and Mac, like the G4 and G5 and such. Although I don't think a G4 could run Ubuntu. The community is what I love about it. If it wasn't for the community, I don't think I would still be running it today. Because when you're so new to it, you just don't know the things that you need to know. So, you know, scrolling around the desktop is fine, but then when you want to actually install, like, other codexes, It's rather confusing if you don't have a tutorial. But the community is amazing. There's 20 forums, official forums, in different languages. There's an IRC room that has just about 1,000 people in there daily. And then you can bug report, and you can even pay. You have to pay for it, but it's a call support. So you can actually call them, and they can help you with whatever problems you have. So this is good if, say you have someone that you want to start using Linux, and you think they're a perfect candidate for it. Like my grandma would be perfect for it, but you're not a pro per se. You could give it to them for Christmas or something like that, and then just give them a call line which you paid for, and now they can call in and get help with their problems, right? So there's usually 2 updates a year, and the current one is 6.10, which is edgy effed, and you can download it, but a lot of people are in a love-hate relationship with it. You either love it or hate it, especially if you tried to install it while you're in Draper, because many things can go wrong and are likely to go wrong. The next stable version is 7.04, and that's the Feisty Fawn, and that's actually available in alpha right now. So there's different versions of Ubuntu. It's under the tree of Ubuntu. So there's your standard Ubuntu, which runs off of GNOME, and Kubuntu, which is KDE, and it's a lot gooier, you could say. It's nicer to look at. It's like XP to Vista. It's just more fancier. There's more bells and whistles, and it has a certain gleam to it. But it does require higher system requirements. Then there's Edbuntu, which is for schools and kids, and that also runs off of GNOME. Then there's Xubuntu, which runs off of XFCE, and it's for older computers. So if you have an old computer and XP just is too slow on it, this is the operating system for you, because it runs great on small, very crappy computers, you could say. But if your computer is really old, you can actually get Ubuntu Lite, and that runs on ICE WM, and that you could run it with 32 megabytes of RAM. It's a great way to revamp your system so it's back to its capabilities of web surfing and stuff. Like my grandma, she would be a perfect candidate for Ubuntu, because I could be like, oh, okay, you do what, word processing, email, some surfing, other than that, she's fine for it, right? But then when I think about my mom, then it's like, oh, okay, well, she likes to play casino games online and stuff, and that won't go over so well because she wants to be able to download the same programs that her friends have, sort of thing. So, now my problems with Ubuntu go like this. I haven't had too many problems, but I have had a couple. Once I installed it, and it turned into Edbuntu on the reboot, and so when I logged in, it turned into Edbuntu. So I was like, oh, okay, this is really weird, and I ended up having to reinstall. Also, the current problem I have, which if you have the solution to, please email me, is the clock applet keeps crashing. So in the top right hand corner, I have a little calendar that's a drop-down calendar. I click the calendar, and when I close it, it crashes my system. Well, it doesn't crash the system, it just crashes the clock, so I have to restart the applet, which is a pain in the ass because I look at my calendar a lot. So I actually switched to the Mozilla one. I'm not sure what it's called. Sunbird, I believe. Anyways, my other problem is Google Calendar. Like, I'm a big fan of calendars, and when I go to Google Calendar, it just shuts off Firefox. Now, I haven't gone there since I installed Firefox 2.0, so I'm not sure, but Firefox 1.5 crashed a lot on that system. I'm not sure what was wrong with it, but it wasn't working well at all. The other thing I have a problem with is my headphones. My mic works, but my headphones don't. I haven't really looked into this problem, so I can't say it's like a problem that I've been trying to fix for days. But it is kind of annoying when I want to do a Skype call. I have to like hear them through my speakers, and then they get feedback. The other problem I have, the last problem, but it's not actually a problem, it's just a little annoyance. When you double click on a MP3 file, it starts playing, but not in the nowhere visible, so you can't find it to shut it off. So like the odd time I've tried to delete an MP3 file and it starts playing, and I can't find where it's coming from, and so I have to restart my computer. That's a pain in the ass, but it's also good because when you hover over, an MP3, it starts playing like a little. So you're like, oh, okay, that's what episode that was.
Okay.
Anyways, the reason why Ubuntu is the fanboy distro of Linux is because it's popular. Like, it is the most popular distro of Linux. Hardware support is amazing. Like within days of release, your hardware is supported, which is pretty impressive. The ease of use is great because it's very simple and straightforward. The other thing is Package Manager. Their app is just great because you can go into this catalog of all these programs that you can download, and not only will it download them, but it will install them as well. So there's no hassle at all to installing 400 programs in 1 minute. Well, it would probably take longer than 1 minute, but you could do it rather quickly. The other thing, as I mentioned before, was the community and the developer support, which is also great. And I've always been a big fan of Linux. Like Netcraft, they reported in September that 8 of the 10 most reliable internet hosting companies run Linux on their servers. Other than switching to Windows, I never really have to restart. So that's good, because I usually leave my computer running for days or weeks sometimes. So that's about it for the Linux. I like Linux, from mobile phones to supercomputers. It's the answer for me. Anyways, that is all with Linux. You tried it.
Yeah.
Briefly,
Very briefly.
Why didn't you really like it?
Well, it's mainly because I'm not a big fan of switching OSs. I like to have one comp works that way, and that's kind of how it works, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
if I, for example, I have another computer, another box, or a cheap laptop or something, I'd probably try Linux on it and keep it on Linux. I've tried the live CD. For one, that takes a hell of a long time to load.
That's because it's a live CD, yes.
Kind of normal. But, I don't know, I arrived into the OS once it was all loaded, maybe like 15 minutes later.
Okay, it's never taken me 15 minutes.
No, it doesn't take 15 minutes, but at least a good 5 to 10 minutes almost.
Yeah.
Anyways, you arrive there and it's like blank. And
it's a very clean look. That's the purpose.
Yes, it is very clean. The first thing that I was kind of fooled with, or I didn't like, was the fact that it didn't have automatically a 1280 by 1024 screen resolution, like detection automatically. Like you could only have 800 by 600 or 1024 768. That kind of annoyed me though.
That is annoying, and that's a common annoyance of people. You actually have to set a command line to fix that, or you can fix it in the BIOS, I think. But that is a common problem.
Secondly, I did like how the Ubuntu was very fun and simple. That's the thing that attracted me to Ubuntu a bit, was how simple it is. You have your bars and shit. It just looks clean.
Yeah.
But when you go into the little panel
Applications.
applications menu or whatever what we call on the Windows the start menu thing, you
Yeah.
have everything on your computer, everything you need right there. You just, well, almost at least, I think.
They're in subcategories, so if you need
Exactly.
an internet or an office application
So you
or a
just go
system,
there and you have the programs that relate to that automatically. You want a game, get your game. You want to do I don't know what, you just go, which is something I really liked.
rather
It's
direct, straight to the
yes,
point, shoot from the hip.
exactly. It's very simple to use, very user friendly, I must say. For someone not used to a Linux OS like I was, because I've never really used Linux or anything,
Yeah.
you it's a mixed feeling. You arrive there, you're lost, but you're not lost at the same time. You're
It's
very lost.
familiar.
Exactly, you're very lost because you go there. It's a brand new OS. It's not all that close to Windows, I must say, um, but it's very user friendly, very easy, and it's very easy to use, I must say.
Yeah. I find it very easy to use, but it's not like I had a problem in Windows,
Hmm.
but I do find it more easy to do things. Um, I like Linux, and I would consider switching my grandma over, but as I explained before, not my mom. You know,
Hmm.
there
It
different people need different things. You know.
exactly. It really depends to what your needs are and what you want to do with your computer.
Yeah, like if you're a video editor, I suggest a Mac because Linux they're still having problems with the codexes because, you know, they're not actually allowed to use the codexes. So they have to like it doesn't come installed, but you can go get them illegally sort of thing. So that's kind of a pain in the ass, especially when you're like, okay, last time I installed it, it went fine, and now I can't find the command line again.
Hmm.
So, anyways, that's Ubuntu. So you can check that
Yes,
out at ubuntu.com, and there's a whole family of distros that you can choose from. Like
exactly.
Ubuntu Lite is an unofficial release of it, because of course that's the great thing about open software. You can modify it for yourself and then release it to the public
Hmm.
as your own, working with a free operating system.
Yes.
Are you planning on updating to Vista?
No, not unless they give it to me.
Because I heard, like, even Mac people, they're saying, you know what, it's not as good as OS X, but it's not as much of a nuisance as XP.
Really?
Yeah, Mac people are saying yes. Like, Dvorak was getting upset on a twit there because they were like lusting after Vista, just saying how great it is. And he's like, I like Vista, but you guys are making me sick. um, but it's a step in the right direction, that's for sure.
Yes. But one thing I don't really like about Vista, the
Yeah.
thing about Vista though is the system requirements. Vista takes a lot out of your PC, just as much XP took out of your PC before. It was easy at 95, yeah, 98 or something, run easy, smooth, was kind of light on your computer. You put XP, boom, your computer dead for half your computer was taken up. And that's what I fear with Vista also.
Yes. Vista wants at least a gig. At least. But here's the thing. You can turn off the shadowing in the back and that weird see-through thing. You can turn that off and it will be faster. Not as fast as XP, but it will be a little faster. So you don't need the latest gaming rig for it, but you do need a modern PC. But like operating systems, you should double check your hardware to see if it's compatible.
That's for sure.
That's an obvious thing. But I would probably try it out. I don't think I would buy it because it's, it gets up to $500, and I don't even go into Windows that often, and my computer can't handle it just yet. So I think I would hold off. If anything, I would buy a Mac, because a Mac can run both Ubuntu, OS X, and with Windows, I believe Vista and XP.
Some people have tried Vista. That's the thing I like, and that's, in a way, bringing up to the next story. Macs, I'm an Apple fan, in a way, even though the only Apple thing I've owned is an iPod.
Yes.
But that's what's cool about the new Macs with the Intel cores. Everything runs on it. So
It was a smooth transition, too.
Yes, and the Mac is the only computer you'll ever need, in a way. Since you want to run Linux, good, you can run Linux on a Mac. You're a Windows fan, you love your XP or your Vista or whatever, you can put it on a Mac. You want a Mac? Well, get the Mac. Everything's in there, and everything runs even almost faster than they actually do when on their proper PCs.
It's very good. But then, of course, we go back to who has what needs. If you live in Windows, don't buy a Mac just to buy one. There are ups and downs of having a Mac running Windows compared to a PC running Windows. So, if you would like to explore Mac and you would like to do, editing over here and then like work stuff over on Windows, that's fine. But don't go out and solely buy a Mac just because you want to run Windows on it.
But anyways, following to our next story on Apple stuff. There was the Macworld conference, I think it was last week.
Keynote was on Tuesday, which is overlapping CES, which is total BS, because that's ridiculous, because they're really two different worlds, and I don't understand why Mac isn't at Consumer Electronics Show, because they are consumer electronics.
Yes, but they like to do their own thing. And
they are.
I wonder if.
Anyways, on to the story.
Yes. Okay, so first up, Apple presented the Apple TV, which was formerly known as the iTV, obviously. They've changed it to the name Apple TV for some unknown reason. Maybe because
I think we all know.
Maybe there was confusion with the channel, but
I don't understand what Jobs' obsession with the letter I is. Like,
I's cool.
Pretty soon they're gonna, trademark the letter I.
Yeah.
Like
well,
my, right? You remember that whole how they copyright.
Yeah, but I'm surprised they haven't done so yet, though.
Well, you can't really just whatever has an I in front of it, it's ours.
Well, they can't really do that right now because some companies have already started with that, with for example, the iPod add-ons and stuff like that, like
iRiver, iPhone. Anyways,
back to the story. Apple introduced the Apple TV, but it's not just the Apple TV as said. Well, it is, but they've replaced the name Apple by the Apple logo.
I like that little apple. That's kind of cute.
Yes, it's for the looks mainly, because they could have stayed with iTV, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they could have.
Okay, so this is how can we describe it? It's a box that you connect to your TV, and that lets you watch what is in your iTunes on your Mac or your PC directly on the TV, on your widescreen TV. So you have your iTunes, you have music on there, you can download movies, you can download TV shows now, and trailers and everything else, and that instantly wirelessly syncs with the Apple TV box, Or I think you can still put a cable if you want though.
Yeah,
And
there's an Ethernet port.
and then you connect your widescreen TV to the Apple box. And from there you can choose whatever you want to watch. You want to listen to music on your like theater sound thing. You want to listen to movies, watch trailers that are on there, listen to podcasts, music videos, and any videos you have on your iTunes. You can watch it directly from your TV. And the Apple box actually um, allows videos to show up to 720.
P.
Yes,
Yeah, which is
good.
it's the standard rate right now in broadcasting, but a lot of Americans are going to be upset because this doesn't, they don't get their 1080i.
No, it's not the max, but dude,
It's good enough.
1080 are hard to get online. They're huge.
The price is $300, which to be honest, the Xbox 360 could do this very thing. It's nothing new other than the podcasts. Like the Xbox 360, it has Wi-Fi. You can put all your content on there. You can play it back. I'm not seeing a great revolution with the Apple TV. It's kind of like been there, done that. And here is my problem with this. This is big, okay? They don't allow you to sit on your couch and be lazy. That's the whole point of this, right? Americans want to sit on their couch and download music and videos. That's not how this works. You have to go to your computer, download a song, then sync it to the Apple TV, then sit down and watch it. That's not what I'm wanting. I'm wanting to sit down and, okay, let's download a movie. We want to defeat the purpose of a computer and a mouse. You want to be able to have the computer in the corner of in the house and sit down and have TV time. That's what I think the whole purpose of it is, and it defeats the purpose if you have to go to your computer and download things separately. It's like they kind of half-ass the job, right? And the USB in the back, you can't plug that into an external drive. And the Apple TV is only 40 gigs. So I understand that because they want to get rid of piracy, because having an external drive, you could just copy all your stuff to a hard drive and walk away. But still, it's like, come on, guys. Other things that it has is 802.11b, G, and N, USB 2.0, Wi-Fi, which is good because if someone comes over with their laptop, they can sync it and be like, okay, let's watch this movie. So that's exciting because I realize that. It's good because all your rich friends that have every movie on the iTunes store, they can come over and won't let you watch it, which is great. If you borrow someone's laptop, you can watch all their collection while they watch yours. The other problem I have is the formats. Do you know what formats they run?
What do you mean?
Are they like .mov or are they XVID and WMA or?
Well, they're the regular iTunes formats.
So I can't watch Dignation unless I download the .mov?
Well, I think iTunes runs AVIs because it runs in partnership with a QuickTime, which runs AVI.
Okay, that's not bad. I can handle AVI, but I would like some XVID. This thing is dying to be hacked, put Linux on there, and make it better than what it is. Seriously, Apple, what are you doing? I wouldn't buy one. When it was announced in September, I was excited. I was going to buy one. Hell yeah, I'll sit down, watch my video podcasts on my TV, and download everything I want from my couch. But that's not how it works. They started with a good idea, and then they changed it little by little. And it's run by an Intel, so...
Yes, but you see, on some things there, I disagree with you.
Really? How so?
I actually like the Apple TV a lot. For one, I'm always on my computer, so that doesn't I don't mind that. But secondly, if you have things that automatically download, for example, Dignation, if you have the feed in your iTunes, you just sit on the couch, there's a new Dignation, you watch it.
Beautiful point.
It automatically syncs with your iTunes whenever there's a change.
Great point. Great point. I never even thought of that, to be honest. That is great, but usually the whole idea of iTunes, they want you to buy stuff from their store.
Yes.
You can't sit down on your couch and watch a movie. That's what kills me, because I would probably have no problem going to the computer and downloading Dignation to go watch it. But a movie, you have the lights dim, you have the popcorn out, you want to watch it now. You know. The other thing that's good is it streams from 5 computers, so you can have every computer in the house synced.
That's a good thing.
Great. Yeah.
So you have like one mother computer in a way, and
Yep.
you simply sync the other computers with it.
I think that's great. I just wish you could watch a movie, because there's no download tab. You go into movies in the standard great, user interface that Apple has. You go to movies, you go to, new movies that I haven't watched, and there you have them. But you can't go, okay, download, and then find one you want. That's the problem I have.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it's great.
Oh, it's a great device.
I'll tell you this: it does stream, but that's only the trailers.
Okay.
That's what it streams, because that's constantly updated from Apple.
That's still a good thing. That's
That
a good
is good.
thing. I'd watch. I like watching trailers.
Hell
And-
yeah!
and
I
I
never
would
get the
simply
chance to
I
see
would
'em.
simply watch, sit on the couch or whatever thing I used to sit down in front of a TV, and and then I simply watch all the interesting trailers, and there's a hell of a lot of trailers on the iTunes store.
That's great. I would love that, because personally, I will not go to apple.com and find myself trailers. But I like watching trailers, and most of the time I don't know what's out in the movie theaters. And this would be a great way for me to find out, rather than going to cineplexodium.com. So I think it has potential. I would wait for maybe 2nd or 3rd gen,
Yep.
like all Apple products, and then maybe they can straighten their tail out and fix it up.
Exactly. But I'd be willing to try the Apple TV sometime. It will probably be the 2nd or 3rd gen. That's for sure. Whenever I'm gonna get a TV to run it. But there's one thing, they've put the emphasis on that. You sync the Apple TV with iTunes, and you connect it to your widescreen TV and you watch it. They've emphasized widescreen TV so much when they've talked about the Apple TV. What if you don't have a widescreen TV?
It will be fine. Don't worry. Just that's the whole idea of 720p. Because it's 720 lines of progressive scan. So it is wider than it is tall. So that's all that means. Just they're emphasizing that we're 720p. That's so 2004, but whatever. It's still, it gives people to think of the specs. Okay, it lets us do this, it lets us do that. Even though it doesn't let you do 1080i, that's all right. That's all right. Because think of downloading a movie for 1080i. It's like people that want to download HD movies. Oh, okay, I'll just wait for 4 gigs to download just to watch a movie. You have to be a pretty dedicated pirate to do that. Or time, you could be like, oh, I don't care as long as it's free. Anyways, next product from Apple
was the Apple iPhone, the long-awaited Apple iPhone. They finally introduced what the product was going to be, and it's quite something, really. There's a lot of stuff in this little gadget. It's little, but it's more than a gadget, really.
They propose it's a phone, but it's so much more.
Yeah, The phone, they really said as if it's a phone, as if the main function is a phone, but the phone part is barely a little portion of what this thing can do.
Yeah, literally. Other than your contacts and the dialing pad, it's hardly a phone.
So Apple first introduced the iPhone as a widescreen iPod with touch controls. So basically, Apple said that the iPhone, what it does, what good thing it does, which kind of like stretches things we've already done. So they've brought the iPod into this phone.
Not only the iPod, but the iPod video. Because we
Yes.
all thought that an iPod video was due out. And then he announced that not only is this a phone, but it's an Apple iPod and an iVideo. Or
Exactly.
iPod phone.
So it's an iPod video, but with a 3.5 widescreen touch phone. Not touch
That's
phone,
inch,
touch
by the
screen.
way.
Yes. What did I say?
Inch. You said 3.5. No measurement required.
Everyone
it's a
knows
3.5
when
screen.
we talk about screens, it's inches,
Yeah.
I think. Anyways, so that's one big of a widescreen iPod, that's for sure. And it works. It's the size though.
Yeah. And then the height is 4.5 inches. The width is 2.4, and the thickness, get this, is 0.46 inches.
In other words, I think it's 11 millimeters or something like that.
Yes,
It's
I didn't
a
write down the millimeters.
It's a very it's small as shit, as everybody said.
It's very thin
But the
and
thing
small in
is,
general.
the capacity of this phone, it only comes in 4 and 8 gigs. 4 gigs. My iPod Nano is 4 gigs, and I have barely enough space on there for my music. So imagine you have this new iPhone, which has the iPod video. You can watch all sorts of things in a perfectly bright, nice screen and stuff, 3.5 inches wide.
And you can watch it widescreen too.
Yes, and you just won't have enough space in there.
Well, yes.
Disk space, I mean.
I can totally see that.
Because it's not the only thing that's going to go in there.
But their screen is so big.
Oh, the screen.
And
is
the
perfect.
product is so small
Yeah.
that what else could have they put in there, really?
That's for sure.
You can't expect an 80 gig hard drive in there. It's so tiny.
The iPod videos are quite small, and they have 30, 80 gigs.
Yes, but they don't have a 3.5 inch screen on them.
That's for sure. But they've deleted the click wheel for a touchscreen.
On the iPhone?
On the iPhone, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you kind of lost me there. I thought you were talking about the iPhone.
Okay.
iVideo. So it's a completely touchscreen. There's only one button on it on the main screen, and then the other things on the side are the volume up and down and the mute button. And what's cool is if you put it on mute, you can put it in your pocket and you can feel. They both connect if it's on muted, so you can feel if it's on mute or not. That's great. That's just Apple thinking.
Of course.
Another example of them thinking is the speakerphone. It has the speaker and the microphone on the bottom, so when you lay it down on a table, you are talking directly at it. So you can hear them and talk to them at the edge of the table. You don't have to, pointing at you. It's a great idea.
That's definitely a good thing. Another good thing that they've added is the earphones. It's the same kind of earphones as an iPod that connects to your iPhone. You can actually take your iPod earphones. You just plug that in and it's going to work. But they've also added, it's the same pair, but they've added a little microphone, and I think it's an on and off switch.
Yep.
On there. And you simply plug it to your iPhone, and it simply works as if it's an iPod, but it has that little mic in the wire, which is another good addition for the iPhone.
Great idea. And they have the Bluetooth earbud thing, which is it looks really nice.
The smallest shit, that one too. One
yeah.
of the smallest I've seen.
Yeah, very tiny. So that's another thing. They're sticking with the standardized ports, along with the 30-pin port at the bottom,
It's the same connector as an iPod.
which is here where I think it's going to dominate, because you complain about the size of the drive. Well, think about this. You could put all your movies on a 30-pin cable hard drive thing, and then when you're on the bus or on the plane, you can just plug that in to get your movies. That's where I think it will work. Like the battery, people say, oh, it's only going to work for 5 hours of talk time. Well, you can have an extra battery for video when you're on the plane, because that's where people use their iPods mostly, especially iPod videos. You sit on the plane, you watch the thing right there. So you can have that in your backpack, just pull that out, plug it in, and then you don't have to compromise the size of the phone with your movies that you only watch when you travel.
Exactly. So, as the product itself, we've talked about the first portion of the phone, which was the iPod. The second thing is it's a phone. It's kind of given away.
Yeah.
It's a phone, but it's an easy phone. Well, Apple presented the phone as a easier phone to use than a regular phone. Now, I don't see how a phone can be easier to use than a phone, but...
Okay, well, you give it too much thought, because old people, for instance, do they know how to send SMS? Do they know how to take pictures with their phone? No, they don't.
Well, most phones has a camera or an SMS key.
They're confusing to older people. It truly is.
Well, the buttons are less showing, and it's not like, doesn't say, oh, look at me, I'm a camera button. But this one does. And
yes,
it's big.
That's the thing. It's obvious, and this is why Apple is so successful at software. They make it easy, straightforward, dumbed down so anyone can use it.
Exactly.
And that's why people love it.
Simple
That's why
and
the
very
Apple TV...
user-friendly.
The Apple TV is beautiful. I love the look of it. Just I wish they would fulfill more things on it. But, they're good at graphical user interfaces. That's what they do.
So, anyways, back to the phone. It works on GSM and Edge.
Edge is only from Singular, so you have to go with Singular unless you don't want the Edge system. What I don't get is why they didn't go with Evdo. Why are they doing Edge? Edge is slow. Evdo is the third generation kick-ass fast.
Does Singular have Evdo?
I believe so, maybe. Probably not.
Well,
I don't know. I don't live in America.
Anyways, Singular has the exclusive use of the iPhone in the United States.
Yes.
And they're going to use GSM since they've thought it was the next thing. I haven't quite understood how it's the way they've presented it. They've said that the Apple phone, the Apple iPhone, will be available in the US in June 2007, in Europe right after that, and then in Asia in 2008. Anyways, that's what they're projecting. When is it available for Canada and the rest of the Americas?
I would assume
At the same time?
4 or 5 months after its release.
Like the Europeans, I think.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
we have Apple stores, but there's only 4 of them in Canada. So that's where the problem is. The thing I have a problem with is not when it's coming here, it's how much is it going to be? But it's rather expensive, especially if you want to unlock it, like
Yes.
myself.
So, I think that's pretty much what the phone is. The phone has a... That was something that disappointed me, though. It has a built-in camera, that's good.
It's only 2.0 megapixels.
That's
It's
the
only,
thing that disappointed me. It's
But
2
you've never-
megapixels.
but you've never seen 2 megapixels on a 3.5-inch screen, though.
2 megapixels is small. They've built digital cameras now that are small as shit, that are almost 10 megapixels. We can't ask this thing to be 10 megapixels, obviously, but they've released phones a few months ago that were already 3.2 megapixels
Yeah.
cameras.
Well, I'm sure at CES there were a couple 4.0s.
Well, that's for sure. And
But
why isn't this one a little, at least 2.5 or a 3? That's what I don't
again,
understand.
I gotta propose that it's because it's so small.
Yeah, but
That has to be the reason. They were so concerned about the thinness of it, and they had to keep it all small because, they wanted to dedicate the whole phone to a screen, pretty much.
yeah, but I just hope for the next generations, the second and the third, that they will have one of the most powerful cameras on there, because it's pretty much the only thing that this iPhone misses is a much more powerful camera. It has
Yeah,
everything great except a good camera.
I can see that.
So, anyways, um, the other thing, the third part of the phone, as they've divided it in three parts: the widescreen video iPod, the revolutionary phone, as they call it, and the third thing is the breakthrough internet device.
This is funny because everyone in the crowd, when they announced the iPod, everyone was hooting and hollering. When they said the phone, it was almost a standing ovation. And then when they said an innovative internet browsing thing, everyone was like, "Oh!" They had no idea what the hell that was. They're like, "What?"
Yeah, breakthrough internet device. Like, what the f is that, really?
Yeah,
It
they
doesn't mean anything.
they should have saved iPhone for the last part. Like, everyone was usually, it's anticlimactic. It's like, oh, okay, this and then an internet thing. They're like, what?
No, but it's
Anyways,
good. This breakthrough internet device is a good thing, but in my opinion,
great.
it's the wrong name.
Yes.
Definitely the wrong name. But anyways, this thing, breakthrough internet device, it means that it's supposed to do what everything a smartphone does, but even better. So you have email on there, you have all sorts of widgets on there, and there's a Safari browser. So instead of having those WAP browsers like on most
Oh,
phones and
man.
having all those crap things that you try to load a web page and they look like crap, well, this is an actual desktop. How do they call it?
Class.
Desktop
Class.
class browser.
Yes.
So you simply go into Safari and you load up a web page, any web page on the net, if you're connected to Wi-Fi or Edge, and you can see any website in their normal form that they would
Their
appear on the
whole
desktop.
entirety. And you
Exactly.
can zoom in.
Zoom out, you see the entire page. You can see it in portrait or in landscape mode, depending on how you put the phone. That's the cool thing, though. The phone automatically detects the side it is. So if it's
Yeah.
up or on the side, and it switches the screen to whatever side position it is, that's a good
Yep.
thing. So back to this browser, you see these. You get to see the web pages exactly as you would see them on a desktop, which is, in my opinion, the best thing of this phone.
Yeah, and then you get the pinch. Oh, I love the pinch.
Oh, pinching
But
to zoom in and out.
seriously now, have you ever been on a browser on a Pocket PC?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I have a Pocket PC, and I gotta tell you, I would take this thing over it any day.
Oh, that's
Like,
for sure.
personally, I would rather unlock the phone. I don't even need the phone. If they put Skype on there, I could find a wireless access point and do my phone calls. That's what's so great about this thing,
Yes,
is that it is literally a pocket Mac.
that's
It
the great thing about this thing, about
OS
this new
X
thing.
kicks the hell out of Windows Mobile 5. It just rips it up. And never mind Palm. Palm OS is dead.
Oh,
You
yeah.
gotta you look at Blazor compared to Safari, it's ridiculous. It looks it looks ancient. Anyways, go on.
The thing I'm amazed, though, is how they didn't want to call it a Pocket Mac, I guess, or at least to some kind of a PDA,
Yeah.
but maybe because those names are reserved or something.
I
But
think it's because they wanted it to be a phone, and then
yeah,
they say this is what comes with the phone
yeah. So
because
it's a phone that can do internet access, or else I guess people would have made it too much compared to a PDA, I guess.
yeah.
But that's the thing, though. This phone will kill internet, not internet, but phone suppliers, because now, since you can simply go through Wi-Fi or anything, you don't even need the phone anymore. With the Cocoa apps, if you probably can get Skype on there, you don't need a phone anymore. You use your Skype. You don't even need the mailing. It does offer Yahoo Mail for free, but
The IMAP, yeah.
you can simply go maybe onto Hotmail or onto your Gmail accounts
Well,
through the internet.
those aren't IMAP, but yes.
No, but directly through the internet browser through Safari. So I
Yeah, but
mean,
you can get other things for IMAP.
usually you take with your phone, you take a picture, you want to send it to someone, it costs you money. You want to send a text message, it costs you money. But you simply go through this browser and email people without anything costing you money. And that will kill phone suppliers, that's for sure.
Well,
I do everything through the browser, that's for sure. Give me one of those things and everything goes through the browser.
personally, I like the you find a photo, you right click, and then you send photo.
Well, it's good. But
But that's
if
through IMAP. That's the thing.
the iPhone, well, I've said that it offers mail.
Yeah, and it's push. It's push mail. So it's like if you're sitting and you don't have to refresh, it just comes in, much like Trios and other smartphones like that. And it's not only Yahoo. I'm sure it supports other things.
Another thing that the iPhone offers is the maps, which I find is something quite cool. Um, it I wouldn't be a fan all that much of the mapping thing, because, well, I don't really need map. I look at a map the first time and then I simply remember it. But this map thing is cool, especially for people who need it. But the thing I loved about this, it works with Google Maps, but the thing I loved about it is how you can switch to satellite view. So it's like you have
Yes.
Google Earth on your iPhone.
Yeah. Literally. You can zoom in and you see not quite three-dimensional, but it looks pretty good.
It's the same thing as you'd have on Google Earth or on the Google Maps website. And
Yeah.
it's just awesome.
It's not only the satellite that's great, it's for people that travel. If you
Yes.
don't know where you are, you can find a Starbucks. You can find your bank.
As
You
long
can
as you have
find,
internet access, obviously. But
yes. Well, I'm sure you can download some maps too.
yeah.
For, but yeah, it's great because if you want to find your bank, you can find the address and the phone number all in a few clicks.
Exactly.
That's what's amazing.
And the iPhone also offers a few widgets. For now, it's really just temperature, the weather, and
Yeah, and
stocks.
stocks.
But it's already something great for example, people in business. If they need to know quick on the hand what stocks are going, moving, and stuff like that. They have it exactly on the end of their fingertips, literally.
Yeah.
And if you need the weather you have it there also.
Here's my problem with the widgets. Steve Jobs said there will not be third-party applications. I can understand that he doesn't want applications to fail and not work on his Apple product, but that's what made the Pocket PC so powerful, that you can make your own apps or get third-party apps, and it just makes the thing more popular and powerful. That's what this needs. I want to be able to use Skype on my iPhone.
Hmm.
I want to be able to use other products. I want to be able to go into IRC chat rooms. I want to go on MSN. I want all those things that I can do on my PDA, but with a better interface and more that the
Yes, but
iPhone offers.
all those things, except for example, some of those, you can get through the internet That's why I was so much putting the emphasis on how with Safari you can bend those rules. You can go on MSN through the internet. You can go through email. You can go through many of things directly through the internet. And since you have any internet access through Safari, any website, exactly in the same form a desktop would have, that's the alternative in a way.
But it's an alternative, but it's not the ideal
Oh, that's
way
for
to
sure,
talk to
but
your friends. I want it to run in the background. I want it to be like the phone, how it's Apple and it's smooth and it's sleek.
But eventually, I guess you'll get different associations and different new applications for it. That's for sure. They'll have to develop one day.
I guess, but how long will it take for Apple to, cover all the products in the world?
Well, they
It
won't
takes a long
cover
way,
all products in the world. That's for sure.
but they
Nothing
need the
actually
main ones.
does. Don't
They
forget, this
need
is a
Skype.
phone,
Yeah, well, Skype.
or else they would have called it IPDA or something.
Yeah,
Why
but
put
it's
Skype on there if it's already a phone? That's the thing.
because then you don't need a provider. You can hit Wi-Fi and phone whoever you want.
Exactly, but that's
That's
not
what
what they
D-Link
want.
did.
That's not what they want. Or else they wouldn't have made it a phone. They would have made it simple PDA and would have installed already a Skype or something like that on it. This is meant to be a phone. Therefore, this is meant for you to go out there, the phone service provider, get yourself the phone, some kind of maybe a 2-year contract or something. Use up the phone, use the browser only if you need to. The iPhone it's a breakthrough device, in my opinion. It is missing a few things, like you said, but eventually, with time, there's different things that's gonna add on to this product, and with the next generations, definitely will become better. Any products in the next generations usually get better. Don't forget, this is a first generation product. You can't ask it to be perfect right off the bat. It hasn't been released yet actually in the stores, so there's not a lot of user feedback.
Well, they had to get FCC approval, and
Yes, and
as
there's
Job said, they would rather announce it than FCC.
yeah, but they're still trying to get it actually. But
Well, it takes 2 months.
exactly.
So they decide that before they would submit it, they would rather announce it to the world than the FCC.
Mm.
But what are the prices?
The prices for the iPhone for the 4 gigabyte one it is offered at a $4.99 US with a 2-year contract with Singular. Now, if you want the 8 gigabyte iPhone, which is a little bit
Double the size.
yes, double the size, a little bit more disk space, which is still not a lot, but definitely has a bit better, is $5.99 US with a 2-year contract at Singular. Now it's a bit quite expensive, especially for a 2-year contract thing.
Yeah, it's still locked. And the thing is, the 8 gig will be $700 with a contract. So how much will it be for me to unlock it completely so I don't have to be tied to a carrier?
Probably
knows?
it's going to be available to sell all alone. Now I don't know if everything's
For
going to
$900,
probably.
which is a lot
That's
for a phone.
That's a hell of a lot for a phone slash PDA slash whatever you want to call it.
Alright, so that is the Apple TV and the iPhone, which were both covered at the Mac Expo. One thing I was upset about was they didn't introduce a new Leopard, they didn't introduce a new iLife. The thing they needed to do was they need to release a Leopard, because they need something to compete with Vista, which is coming out later this month.
They are releasing one. Just
Not this month.
not this month, but this summer.
Anyways, Apple Computers Incorporated is no longer Apple Computers Incorporated. It is Apple Incorporated. So pretty much like how they're saying their motto is Apple in your home, Apple in your living room, Apple in your pocket, or whatever, right? It's kind of like how Microsoft used to say our software in every household, right? Kind of sounds like a communistic slogan, but still, it is true that Apple's broadening their horizons. You know, now they're bringing out a phone and then a TV compatible box thing. You know, they're really going to, okay, we're gonna bring your movies, we're gonna bring your music, and we're gonna wrap it all up for you and make it easy for you. That's what Apple's all about, because they are the company to do it, if any. So, anyways, that's all for this week. Tune in next week. We'll have more. And in 2007, we'll be weekly. Hopefully, that continues at a fair rate. All right, so this has been Justin Ritchie with you, and Yannick Martin.